Good morning. This is Ron Brown. It's September 3rd, 2022, the beginning of the Labor Day weekend, and I'm going to create a video today showing you one of Wyckoff's scans, or two of his scans that I've created in HGS Investor, and I'll explain that. Anyway, here's a standard risk disclaimer. I don't need to read this again. You know that trading is at your own risk. If you don't have a trial of HGS Investor, you can go to the website at highgrowstock.com and download the software for 30 days, and then you can follow along with what I do. If you get the trial, you can have access to the Insider Club for 30 days also. Now I'm considering doing a fall webinar series if there's enough interest. I've had responses from some people, not enough to warrant a webinar series yet, but I'll talk about it for a few weeks, and if there's not enough interest, I just won't do it. Anyway, it's only going to cost, if you're a member of the Insider Club, the webinar series will last 8 sessions, and it will only cost $100, and I don't charge much money because I like people to attend and to use the software. So I'll show you today one of the things that I'll be discussing more if I do that webinar series. Anyway, let's look at this. This is the video that I'm recording right now. There's no link on it yet. Here is the latest link to the add-on files. I update everything daily. Make sure that you install the add-on if you're using HGS. I do it once a week for some people. Some people like to do it every morning. This is a link to a PDF file for adding individual user smart groups. I'm going to that method rather than sending out a bunch of user smart groups that nobody will really use. You can be selective by using this. Let me just click on this, bring this up, and these are the the user groups, user smart groups that I have linked so far, and this is really a good cross-section of what is necessary, and I'll be adding some others as time goes along, but make sure that you download and install my latest filters before you install these other user smart groups, because if I've modified filters or added filters for these smart groups, then it won't work properly unless you have the latest filters. So just save the filters and then install the filters like you install any other add-on. It's really very simple. Okay, I'll get out of this. Whoops, let's bring this one back up. This tells you how to install the individual smart groups and some. It's a little longer video. Here's a playlist of short videos on HGSI power techniques. I add videos to this quite often. I try to keep them really short. I added 2 the past couple of days. Here's one on locating intraday accumulation with HGSI Investor and Thinkorswim, and this is the same thing except it's about ETFs. I just put this one up yesterday. So both of those are available, and they're available from the Power Techniques. Here's a playlist of my user smart groups, the ones that I had up at the time. And then this is for people who are new to HGSI Investor. It's getting started with HGS Investor software, a playlist, and let me just bring that up. And there's just 5 videos here for people that want to use my basic files. This will get you started. Now this PDF can always be accessed if you're a member of the Insider Club from under the Help file, and you just go to Member Services, log in, and it's under my Insider Club. I do not have this one up there yet. There will be a September 2022 after I finish this video today. Just click on the link and it will open the PDF that I'm showing you right now. Okay, let's get started. This is a concept I've been working on for a while, ever since Matt allowed me to scan on chart information. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I'll bring up a chart of something, and this 800 flowers doesn't look too good, does it? But this information right here, volume, spread, and close. By scanning on those factors, we can locate stocks based upon demand and supply, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to go into my warehouse views, and if you look under my scans, top-down process, and just go down to the Wyckoff folder number 6, you're going to find demand and supply scans. Now I'm only going to talk about the number 1 scan today, higher volume, wider spread, and the number 1 scan under supplies. So supply, wider spread on higher volume, supply is present, and I'll start with this one, demand, higher volume, wider spread. So I'll click on that, and you can see that it transfers through to the warehouse. I'm going to open this up, and looking at all securities, even though yesterday was a rotten day in the market, like we've seen so many recently, there are several stocks that were in high demand. Now if I click on this and I'm looking at the industries, you can see there was demand in biotechs. These are SPACs, metal and mining, exploration and production, marine shipping, and so on. The largest group was biotechs. So I'll click on this. I'll just bring up a biotech stock. I'll just click on the first one. But if I want to get into the biotech list, I just change to the industry group, and you can see that all of these biotech stocks were in high demand. So let's just look at a couple of them. This is a little cheap stock, $1.09. Let's look at something that may be a little more expensive. Let's go to this one. This stock is a $5 stock, but if you look over here, whoops, I need to click on that again. Very high, wide, and very high matches these columns up at the top. Now this is a stock that I'm certainly not interested in. I just really stay away from most biotechs. But all of these stocks are showing the characteristics that make it past the filter. Now the filter's a little bit complicated. As you can see, you can come in here and study this on your own if you want to, but if any of these conditions are met, then these stocks are going to appear through here. Now let's go back, and I don't want to waste my time looking at a bunch of stocks that are not candidates for me. I want to concentrate on something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in to the HGS box stocks and make sure that you install the latest box stock smart group if you want to use box stocks. I'm not sure when I added this, but this brings up all the HGS box stocks every day. I'll just click on the shift key, take the filter off, and notice there are 694 securities in here which qualify as box stocks. Now let's go back to the warehouse, and I'm going to re-establish or reapply the filter right here, and these are box stocks that were in demand. Now notice there's some red here on the spread. The spread, in my opinion, is not as important as the volume and the close. So let's just open this one up, and it shows a below average spread right here, but the volume's high and the close is very high. The group is turning up a bit. So the spread, and these are all mathematical formulas. If you go into the help file, type in VPA, you can locate the part of the VPA information which shows what distance or what width a spread has to be high, above average, wide, and so on, or below average. It's all in the help file. So let's take a look at a few of these. I'll just flip through them. Here is one. You can see it sold off. There was an effort to fall the prior day, but it didn't go anywhere, and you can see that the volume's very high, the spread's above average, the close is very high, the sentiment's bullish, and there, in addition to meeting the Wyckoff criteria, there is an effort to rise. So this one, if you're thinking about playing on Tuesday, this one should go into your watch list. But also, rather than putting things in a watch list, you can just come here and look at the intraday, and this will be populated with intraday information on Tuesday, and you'll know which ones are following through. I don't have my intraday running right now, even though it's a weekend. You can do that with Thinkorswim, but let's just flip through these quickly. You can see high, above average, very high. I'm not going to read these off because you can see them over here. Now here's one with a below average spread. This spread, it's the top to the bottom. So even though there are long wicks on here, it qualifies because the spread is wide. This is a spinning top at this close near the high, so there is demand there. There's demand here. CF Industries, a pullback. The 3 is turning up towards the 6. There's a test, a strengthening returning, or an up bar closing near the high after the test confirms strength, and an effort to rise. So you can see that even though it was a bad day, there are several stocks that are looking pretty good. Now I want to do one more thing. Let's go back here, and I'm going to click on this, and I'm in my contextual intrinsic stocks or charts right now, but I want to go to my daily analysis charts. These are charts that I also use, and I'm going to go down here to visual filter backtest. And whenever a green bar appears, that means that there was one of these demand flags. It was above average, but the spread was below average, but the close was very high. And you can see that there was demand there. There was demand here. Here it's above average, and high. And from here, this stock took off. I'm just going to flip through a few of these, and you can see where the demand flags showed up. And if they followed through, there was demand here, didn't go anywhere. There was demand here, demand here, demand here, demand here, demand here. There's demand again. So this is visual filter backtest chart, demand, nice run, showing demand again, nice run off of this demand scan here also. Didn't happen for a while. It tried, and then it contracted, and then it took off after that. So a delayed reaction. Here's a couple of demand scans on this one. Let's look at PDD. Demand here, shakeout, and then it looks like it's going higher from here. CF Industries. Demand scan here. Well, here's another one back here. I opened this up, and you can see that it didn't follow through. But it met the criteria. Let's look at Levi. All these were demand scans, and it followed through. 2 demand scans here, Levi. So all these demand occurrences here, and then there's 2 more. This is, if the market holds together, this could be a decent trade here too. So I only have 14 with demands, but these are my all box stocks. So what it did is it went in and out of these 694 stocks, by applying the filter, it called these out just like that. Now let's look at the other side of this. I'll just stay in the box stocks, but rather than using demand, let's just go over to the supply side. I haven't looked at any of these, so we're going to do this together. Now look at this. There are 54 here out of the 694 that are showing supply. And what do we have here? We have very high volume, and the spread is wide, but the close is down. So these are all showing supply. Here's Lulu, and you can see it gapped up. Must have been earnings yesterday, but way it closed, and there's a VPA flag here also. So reached new high, recent high and higher volume, but failed to hold. So it's a bearish signal. Okay, so notice that this chart, it still gives green bars, but these are only instances of where it was showing where we were getting these supply signals. Above average, and down up here, and this is bearish. A great short call on this. Mercer, it's showing weakness here. It showed weakness here, and it went down. It was showing weakness here and here. It did go down. Let's look at JB Hunt. Okay, here's above average, closed down, and it continues to go down. Okay, here is a signal on Quanix building. This was a bad signal here. They don't all work out, but the point of these scans obviously is to give us a chance to potentially find stocks that are going to go either up or down on demand or supply. Now, there are a lot of other Wyckoff scans that I'll be covering in other videos. I just don't want to make long videos. People lose interest. So this is one of the things that if I do a webinar series, I'll be spending a lot of time on these Wyckoff scans. But as you can see, they're valuable. So here's the supply. Here's the demand. There's an intraday version of both of these, or all of these. That's about it for this video. Once again, in review, you're going to find these Wyckoff scans under my top-down process scans, and you're going to go down to folder number 6. Here's all of the demand scans, and here are all of the supply scans. The chart you will locate under my daily analysis charts, and it's clear down here at the bottom, number 8. And here's another one. Well, no, that's the wrong one. Use number 8. The other one is for something else. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. And if you're interested in a webinar series, just send me an email. Several people have, but I don't have enough yet to make it worth my time. Thank you for listening.